What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin today. The first day of June. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, you guys. Yes, it's the first day of June. We've just closed out the month of May, and here we are at $104,000 with 21 hours and 55 minutes left in the day. If we look here on the monthly time frame, you can see May just closed out here with the highest monthly close that Bitcoin has ever had in its entire history. So that was not just the highest, that wasn't the all-time high just in price, but also on a monthly closing basis. Very, very big deal. Over the last 2 months, we engulfed this whole consolidation phase here. I wonder on the 2-month time frame. Okay, so they're different 2-month time frames, but 2-month chart actually looks pretty bullish. I'm not gonna lie. I want to get this on something that's not Coinbase. I mean, the 2-month chart looks super bullish, honestly. But on a monthly basis, yes, just getting that close. Highest monthly close we've ever had. We're officially above the zone that we've been consolidating. I do think that this implies growth to come in the month of June and the months to come after that. We've only just begun our journey, you guys. We just got into the overbought zone here on the monthly time frame. Yes, if we close this month green, we will be further into the overbought zone. And this will likely imply months, like literally the rest of the year in green months of growth. Every single month from here is going to be green, man. I don't care. Between now and Christmas, it's all going to be green, or at least until the end of the cycle, which might be that could be October. Hold on, I just want to make sure I got everything. Okay, cool. Looking at this on a weekly time frame. Looking at this on a weekly time frame here, weekly RSI is looking to reject the overbought zone. That's not a good look. We have 21 hours, 54 minutes left in the week here, so the goal would be to get the week to come up and close green. We're down 4.5%, so if we can move up 4.5% and close above last week's closing high, well, then maybe we stand a chance of not rejecting the overbought zone, but I don't think that's going to happen. Let's look at the short-term time frames and move on with ourselves here. Okay, so looking at this on the 1-hour time frame, we're here at about 104K right now, looking like we're rejecting, looking like we're going down, right? All we did was we found support back here, and we substituted support for resistance right here. Finding resistance, getting higher highs in the RSI while having lower highs in the price is not a good way to go. No volume coming in on the upside. The volume's coming into the downside, though. Weekend or not, man, it's definitely coming in on the downside here. Looking at the 1-hour, I would expect that we have another drive down. Now, on the 1-hour, it might look extreme. This might look like a lot, but it's really not a lot. Down here, that's about $102,000, something like that is what I would expect we go to. Probably something just below $102,000. Looking for 101.7K specifically, but anytime you give a specific target, you should have a range of acceptance where you could be wrong, right? To the upside and to the downside. But a little bit lower would make sense. Definitely lower than this low here. Actually, from a low to a high, I wonder, let's see, low to high right there, 102.6, 102,000. A lot of cryptos have been respecting their 1886 200 area lately, so keep that in mind. But I really don't think that Bitcoin goes below 101K. If we go below $101,000, you guys, we have a whole different discussion right now, okay? From a low to a high, I'm jumping all over the place, going from the 1-hour to the daily, but from the monthly to the 1-hour, right? From a low to a high here, if we go below 101K, we will likely not stop until we see 95.8K, okay? That's the area that we would go to. So absolve ourselves of doing that. We don't want to do that. Hold support at 101.7K, somewhere in that area, right? Or higher. That's always good. Daily RSI, looking at this while we're here. If we go a little bit lower, that might set us up to bounce off the 40, which is oftentimes a good thing for Bitcoin. Actually, we do find support and resistance there oftentimes, so that would be a good look. Let's go on the 4-hour time frame. Yes, the 4-hour looks, kind of in a downtrend. Lower highs, lower lows. Those are some pretty straight lines. If you know me, those are straight for the lines that I can draw, man. Those are definitely pretty straight. It would make sense that we're finding resistance here, right? If you look at this trend line, it would make a lot of sense we find resistance here. Finding resistance at the 40 after getting oversold, definitely suggestive of lower prices. Now, here's the thing. We could go lower in the RSI, lower in the price too. And then we come up and then we still go lower in the RSI, but we find a higher low. That could still mean that we go lower in the price as well. So we might go lower, and then here the RSI is bouncing, so the price might bounce, find resistance at this prior support, and then it goes lower. You get a higher low in the RSI, but you get a lower low in the price. That'll create bullish divergence, and then we'll bounce. Something like that could happen. Maybe not exactly like how I have it drawn. The way I have it drawn, that low would be at 99K. We don't want that, but something to that effect could happen, and if that were to happen, that could take a few days to transpire. So it could be sometime maybe in the middle of next week or very early next week, like Tuesday, Monday, Wednesday, that we do start to recover and move up if things are going to do that in that kind of fashion there. There is the other idea that we are forming some kind of a head and shoulders pattern here. Not just some kind of a head and shoulders, a very, very perfect looking head and shoulders. You got the left shoulder here, you've got the head, and then we could be forming the right shoulder right now. This, and typically head and shoulders patterns do have pretty symmetrical shoulders, very symmetrical from a price perspective of high to low, but fairly symmetrical in a time perspective, right? This shoulder lasted for about 10 days, right? So we would expect the right shoulder then, once we form the right shoulder, maybe we're forming it now, or maybe we've yet to form it because we haven't seen the low, that it would take 10 days. So there's a very possible outcome. All I'm trying to say is that while we form this right shoulder, Bitcoin kind of has some chop over the next week. It's a very possible scenario that the next week or so ahead of us is rather boring, rather choppy, just like this was, right? People will see the head, the left shoulder, the right shoulder. They'll see this pattern and they'll think, we're going to go down. But no, we're going to go up. We're going to go up. That's my expectation, at least. I don't think that we're going to go down. If we do go down, again, 95.8K is a target area to consider. We can talk about lower prices too, but I don't think it's important. It's nothing to consider at the moment until we start interacting with prices below 101K. All in all, I think that the long-term indicators on Bitcoin are bullish. The short term are bearish, so we're going to have a little bit of chop. Nothing too crazy. Little red weekend never hurt anybody. We can rebuild next week, and I think that we will. Kicking off the month of June with a bang. I really do like the way that this monthly chart looks, you guys. 2 monthly candles charging up like that, engulfing this whole range. We're in the overbought zone. There's good things. Right now, we're not in the overbought zone because we're down a little bit just to start off the month. But if this month closes green, and I have a strong suspicion it does, then I would think that not only is that good looking on the price, getting continuation, closing at like multiple highs, multiple new all-time highs on the monthly time frame, but it also look good on the RSI because we get deeper into the overbought zone. Typically on the monthly time frame, when you get in the overbought zone, you don't stop in this area. You work your way all the way up to something above the 90. And if we're going to go above the 90, if this is what our path is right now on a month-to-month basis, I don't care how long it takes us, we're moving up to the 90. That's pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome. And we're going to see some crazy, crazy stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if by the end of July we were up at the 90, but we'll see how it goes. Hit the like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Thank you all for being here. 104K now, $102,000 to $101,000 over the next couple of days. And then sometime, if not this coming week, then maybe we take a 10-day pause, right? We form that head and shoulders pattern, but I think we're going to break out to the upside and not to the downside. So if this week isn't bullish for Bitcoin, it might be bullish for altcoins. Altcoins like to run when Bitcoin's being stagnant and moving sideways. Even if it moves down a little bit, if it's moving sideways, altcoins can run. Or if we're not boring this week and we're not stagnant, we don't form that right shoulder in this alleged head and shoulders pattern, then maybe we do just move up this week. But that's not my suspicion at the moment. So I hope it's clear. I hope it's understood what I'm saying. Down a little bit and then some chop. Yeah? And then we can talk about moving up maybe about 7 to 10 days from now. Okay. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.